TNC News, I am Patrick Jones. Making headlines today, tertiary level educators meet in San Ignacio for Professional Development Forum. Government halts refugee application process being carried out by Help for Progress. And senior minister says all Belizeans should familiarize themselves with the 1859 Boundary Treaty. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories coming up after these messages.
Who said that deals only happen once a year or only on special occasions? Walk into any one of our central TV and internet offices to get free installation, free modems, and free MyTV subscriptions. Visit us whether you're in Belize City, Belmopan, San Ignacio, or Benque, or give us a call toll-free at 0800 Cable TV. Central TV and Internet. Bundle and save.
Bundle and save. Central TV and Internet.
The Sacred Heart Auditorium in San Ignacio Town is the venue for the annual Professional Development Forum of the Association of Tertiary Level Institutions of Belize. The event opened this morning, and Vice Chair of ATLIB, Dr. Karen Martinez, explains the significance of this two-day event.
We are here gathered together as ATLIB, 13 institutions from across the country, holding our third annual ATLIB Summer Professional Development Workshop under the theme Designing and Delivering Quality Tertiary Education in Collaboration with our Stakeholders. The purpose for this is for us to develop capacity for all the different stakeholders in education. We have administrators are here today, staff are here today along with support staff. So each group will be going into sessions to get more information so that in the end all of us together will be able to provide the service that we are supposed to provide for our students.
Why is it important for these educators to be gathered in a forum like this?
Okay, traditionally we have our own workshops, but coming together will reinforce the fact that higher education is important, and also the fact that we need to ensure that all of us are at the level required to meet the needs of this 21st century.
So then the question begs, what are you hoping that the participants will walk away from this two-day event with?
Okay, since all of them have decided to choose their own topic of interest, they should be able to, when they go back, show more competence in whichever area they have chosen. So we are hoping that at the end of this workshop, all of us would have learned something enough to develop the capacity so that in the end, all of us together will improve our individual areas and collectively ATLIB higher education.
Minister of Education Patrick Faber, who addressed the teachers at the opening, says that the process of professional development must not be underestimated.
We want our teachers or instructors or lecturers to always be upgrading themselves. And this two-day event is planned by the Association of Tertiary Level Institutions to do just that, to make sure that our educators in the junior colleges and our universities are on the top of their game. I see on the agenda today some very, very relevant topics. I see some presenters even from outside of our country who are partners through the consortium that we belong to, Quebec. And so I am forced to say, but I'm happy to say as well, that this is truly going to be a 2 days session of excellence.
What are you hoping that the teachers will walk away from this forum with at the end of the sessions tomorrow?
Well, we're hoping that the sessions that will be presented will help them to better be able to deliver the quality of education that we speak about all the time in this country and in our ministry in particular. You know, as I said in my remarks this morning, what that quality is, what the stakeholders define that quality to be, should be kept at the center of what it is we do, not only in these 2 days, but in everything that we do. And then how relevant the offerings are at our various institutions that are a part of this group is also very important. So we're hoping that the discussions, the sessions that we have over these 2 days will lead towards productive development in those 2 areas, creating better quality and creating a more relevant education at the tertiary level.
Minister Faber says part of delivering quality education requires that the teachers themselves have a clear understanding of what tertiary level education means.
That terminology itself, tertiary, may take on different forms. And what I challenge them to do is to define for themselves and their institutions what it is that tertiary education means. Because if we just go with the definition, we might get locked in, so to speak, to what has traditionally been understood as tertiary. And so that was a major challenge that I issued to them on the end of my presentation this morning. And I believe that if taken seriously, it is one that could create serious turning arounds in terms of the offerings of quality education at these institutions.
You're here with these educators, some of the brightest minds, if I may call it that. How do you find a synergy between policy and what's actually happening on the ground to make education relevant to the development of this nation?
Well, this is the reason why I've come, and this is the reason why, in fact, our ministry is a major partner in this initiative. Because you're right, this is the Association of Tertiary Level Institutions. It is not a government branch, so to speak. But it is important for all of us to be singing from the same song sheet, the synergy that you talk about. And if we share constantly, every chance we get, with our stakeholders, in this instance, the Association of Tertiary Level Institutions, then we get to that point where we are understanding each other, and then the quality that we all have on our agenda becomes more defined, and relevance is also very important in all of that. And this is why I am pretty sure that present in the gathering today were also some private sector stakeholders, because indeed, as you heard in my presentation, for that synergy to happen and for us to attain the point where we are comfortable with the quality and the relevance, everybody must be at the table. And so the ministry is very, very ecstatic to participate in this, and we're hoping that this is another step, another continuous step in our efforts to bring everybody together, to make everybody understand that education is everybody's business and that all levels of education are interconnected. We can't be looking at just the lower levels and not focus on the upper levels, nor can we be doing vice versa. So this for me and for our ministry is very crucial.
One of the teachers attending the Professional Development Forum is Stephen Sangster, who is a member of the faculty at Sacred Heart College Junior College.
Well, we're excited about the initiative ATLIB has taken to bring all the schools together, tertiary level schools, to kind of collaborate and sharpen our skills and just make us more effective in the classroom. So my hope is that whatever sessions we're able to go through, that the facilitators will help and teach us a little bit more to kind of hone our craft so that students get the most out of our teaching in the classroom.
Does it encourage you as an educator to be able to meet in a forum like this with your colleagues from all over the country?
Well, we're very excited to be able to meet from Corozal to Dangriga to Cayo, because it helps bring different cultures and different members of our, the faculties that we have available, and it kind of helps us to work on things outside of just this conference. We meet and we discuss different initiatives we are taking personally. so we're able to discuss it and work. I know there's been a couple collaborations beyond this in terms of textbook writing and things that have occurred because of just meeting together in a forum like this.
So you're hoping to get a lot out of this?
Yes, very much, and we're excited about just the initiative that ATLIB has taken and the support to the Ministry of Education and what we've been doing.
Some of the topics that are being discussed at the ATLIB Forum include counseling for at-risk students, technology in the classroom, science and math methodologies, and human resource management. The forum ends on Thursday afternoon. The government of Belize has taken the decision to halt the processing of applications for refugee status in Belize by the non-governmental organization known as Help for Progress. Cabinet, at its regular meeting on Tuesday, took the decision after a determination that there does not exist any formal or legal agreement between the government of Belize and Help for Progress. According to a government press release, all applications and the processing for recognition of refugee status must be presented to the recently reactivated Refugee Eligibility Committee. The official release explains that the guidelines for consideration of refugee status are very rigid and are only considered if the applicant can provide a well-founded fear of being prosecuted for reasons such as race, religion, nationality, and political opinion. Any entity other than the duly authorized Refugee Eligibility Committee involved in processing applications for refugee status considerations should cease and desist from such activity, the official release says. Cabinet also requested that all applications be directed to the Department of Refugees, which is housed at the Ministry of Natural Resources and Immigration building, for recommendation by the Refugee Eligibility Committee. You're watching TNC 10, and this is the 9 o'clock news.
My dad never misses a football match.
Me neither.
Are you enjoying this game or what?
I'm loving every minute of it.
I can't miss this game, but I can't see it either.
Here, now you can. The game's on me.
Now, wherever there's internet, you don't have to miss a single minute of TV. And the best part of My TV is its cost as little as $10 monthly for Central TV and Internet's customers. With 25 channels at your fingertips, you'll always be tuned in. My TV is available only at Central TV and Internet. Log on and discover a new world of mobile TV.
Hey, do you happen to have a beer?
A drive-by shooting in Belize City on Tuesday night has left one man injured. 19-year-old Chioma Williams was shot to the right buttocks and grazed on the left hip when someone on a motorcycle drove by and opened shots on him as he walked at the corner of Freetown and Barrack Roads. Police investigations continue. Minister of Education Patrick Faber today weighed in on the ongoing discourse regarding Guatemala's aggression, particularly at the Sarastún. In the sidelines of the ongoing ATLIB conference in San Ignacio, TNC News asked Minister Faber about the inclusion of the Belize-Guatemala border dispute in the school system so that everyone knows that Belize is for Belizeans.
Well, I don't think we need to convince any Belizean that Belize is for Belize. Maybe we should advocate for the Guatemalan government to change their stance. But in terms of getting our Belizean citizenry to be more aware in terms of what those borders are. I mean, I am a Belizean, to be honest, and I am 38 years of age, and it was only in this latter year that I visited the Sarastún River. So that now, Patrick, when these discussions are happening about the Sarstoon, I could say as a Belizean that I've gone there. And this is why, to some extent, the expeditions or the excursions that the territorial volunteers have put off are not necessarily a bad idea because it educates Belizeans. But in the current climate where the government is saying, listen, there is this kind of tension that exists, we are working on generating some kind of protocol because there is difficulty now, stay away for the time being, then, I support that. But the work of the territorial volunteers to educate Belizeans, it should be the priority of all of us, not only the education system, it should be the business of everybody in this country to make our citizenry fully aware. As a result of that, there was a suggestion, I'm not sure where it originated, that we should start circulating the 1859 treaty that clearly identifies those boundaries. And so our ministry will be undertaking that to mass produce it, if you will, and to circulate it to make sure that every learning institution across this country has it. And I don't want to get into the back and forth. This should be done. Well, we are going to do it because, like you've identified, this is something that we need to make sure that every citizen of Belize, we have a very young population, and many probably, myself including, were not, although I was alive at the time of the heads of agreement, at the time of our independence, and at the time of a lot of the agitation between Guatemala and Britain. I was born in 78, or 3 years before independence. But I cannot recall these things, and so there are many young Belizeans born in the 80s and the 90s and even in the new 2000 years plus that do not understand how serious an issue this issue is. And so we must do everything in our power indeed to educate Belizeans. And you're right, while it is that I don't think we have a question in the minds of Belizeans that Belize is for Belizeans, clearly identifying the issues that surround or claiming our nation. Every square centimeter should be amplified every chance we get.
Minister Faber says he supports, in theory, the educational aspect of what the Belize Territorial Volunteers Group is doing, but he is wary of those who want to play politics with such a fundamental national issue.
Absolutely, although I'm not sure that I would go with the territorial volunteers. It's not to criticize them in any way, but I have been, like I said, to the Sarstoon. When I went, it was for the groundbreaking ceremony for the forward operating base. It is a very strenuous trek, and maybe that's because I went all the way down to Cadenas, to the lookout point, and ventured to the marker, which is a jungle trek, if you will. So it's not the kind of trek that you do every day, and quite honestly, I'm satisfied that I have gone. I may agree to visit maybe one of the other markers. I've certainly been to the one here in the west, and maybe I should venture to find and locate, and as a mark of history, maybe for me and my boys, a visit to the northern one. But it is not a criticism of the territorial volunteers at all. I really believe that the work that they do, especially in relation to educating our Belizean population, is admirable work. Although in some aspects of their campaign, I will say that I don't agree with.
That's because of the political aspect of it?
Well, not really, because I have seen, of course, where you have both UDPs and PUPs engaged, and for that matter, the third party engaged in the territorial volunteers. And, for me, I don't play politics, and I believe I can speak for our larger party, but I can speak more clearly for me. The Belize-Guatemala issue should not be a political issue. And I do see where some political entities, apart from the UDP, have tried to make this into a political football. And I implore persons in any one of these political entities that may be aggressively pursuing that agenda to cease and desist from doing so, because when Guatemala comes to invade, I should say if they come to invade, they will not ask a single Belizean citizen whether they are PDP or PUP or UDP. That is not in their interest, and so in the fight against Guatemala, that should not be our concern either.
Bilateral talks on formulating a protocol for the Sarstoon will begin this coming weekend in Istanbul, Turkey. You're watching the 9 o'clock news on TNC 10. Coming up, we'll take a look at the weather. Stay with us.
Would you like to know more about the flora and fauna of Belize? Do you enjoy gardening and need some tips? Then tune in to The Garden Show with Belize Botanic Gardens every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, only on the National Channel.
It was another hot and humid day in the Jewel today. Here is the weather summary. That's a look at the weather with information provided by forecaster Michael Gentle at the Belize Weather Bureau. And those are the stories we have for you today on the 9 o'clock news. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of the main points again. Tertiary level institutions, or that should be tertiary level educators, meet in San Ignacio for Professional Development Forum. Government halts refugee application process being carried out by Help for Progress. And senior government minister says all Belizeans should familiarize themselves with the 1859 Boundary Treaty. With the headlines, we end this edition of the 9 o'clock news. Thank you for joining us. I am Patrick Jones. Have a good evening.